we are surrounded, are we not, by the gifts and the talents and the graces of this Sunami family. And as John will tell you, John Soichi, Sunami, he will tell you how the family has come together to celebrate art. And I've loved it, John, how you said, as I designed this, I thought of the Cultural Arts Center. And tell us how that evolved in your imagination and then the execution of your work.
Well, first of all, I want to say hello to everyone. Thank you for being here. I have loved this gallery space since I first saw it. I think this is possibly the best space in Columbus because it's open, it has character, and it is free to the public. So I always wanted a place too that I show my father's work because I think he is not as appreciated as he should be. The quality of his work is, the more I have worked with it, the more I appreciate it. And then I always thought, well, my pieces might look nice in here too. Now April has been here. She's had stuff in here, so she's actually preceded me, and maybe you want to tell.
Well, first of all, it's a great honor to be asked by John and to be included in this show. It is amazing, and actually, I've also just had a chance to get familiar with Soichi's work from working at Nimbus a while ago. This is John's business, and yeah, it's just a really amazing, incredible, rich history of work. So it's nice to be shown alongside. But there have been a couple of exhibits here, Dare to Be Heard. That was, I think, in 2016. So had a piece composed in 3,000 Smith & Wesson bullet shells and candles. It was crazy. Yeah. So that was here, and also was a part of an ongoing exhibition called Art 360. And it was a very perky project involving ostrich eggs. So 40 artists from Ohio, all over Ohio, were charged with the task of designing an egg, an ostrich egg. And this show toured all over Ohio, and it came here how we did TV work, and I did. And actually, I would like to point out, John, actually, I broke my egg when I got the egg, actually. And John said, you should just keep it broken. Like, just, you know, I think it will have more character if you just keep the top of it. Just, right. So he went down to the basement, he got his tools, he like helped me solder it, put the pieces back together, and I'm you know, I'm not gonna brag, but the egg was pretty awesome, and it had some character. So you know, again, you know, this is just a testament to just family and just the collaborative spirit of work. So.
April, married to Christopher, son of John and Mary Alice. Where are you, Mary Alice? Come forward. Christopher's a musician, and he will be playing the piano.
No, actually, he's a violinist.
Violinist?
But he won't be playing. He'll be playing his compositions, the quartet from the symphony, Columbus Symphony.
Tell us about that. That's tomorrow night?
Yes, tomorrow night. The opening is from 6 to 9, and performances will start at 7:30. And there will be a quartet from the Columbus Symphony, and they will play some of Christopher's compositions. There will also be a performance by the Como Dance Company, and they will do a licensed recreation recreation of one of Martha Graham's dances, Heretic. And that's Heretic there. There are a couple more over here. And we have just found out that the coach who came from New York to help them do the dance will also be performing. She will, Miki Orihara. She was with the Graham Company for almost 30 years, and she will perform Lamentations, which is one of Graham's best known works, and that's the center booth. That's one of my father's best known photographs. So if you can make it, I would say you will have a good time.
I know that.
Joe Nakamura has already tuned the piano already for this concert. So let's be here. What time again?
The performance will start from 7:30, but the opening runs from 6 to 9.
Wonderful. So, John, Mary, Alice have this son, Christopher, married to April. So we are all here in the family, huh? Mary, come forward. Tell us a little about that reflection you shared with me earlier about the family coming from Japan.
Well, the title An American Family that this exhibit has is a significant one. It's important because America, of all places, is made up of many people from many different traditions, many different cultures, many different families. So for me, this exhibit is a wonderful opportunity to talk about what it is to be family, to build family, and to connect through community. We don't think about and talk about what makes us a nation often enough, because we are very unique in many ways. And it's important if we want to continue to have an American community, an American nation, that we think about the things that we bring together, the differences that are so important to making up this quilt that is the American history. So we are happy to see this opportunity to look at some of the parts. This is an individual family, but they reflect the great diversity that makes our country what it is. So this is what
You mentioned to me the pain of what had happened in, what years were they when they were detained?
Yes, you should ask John, because he can tell you a little bit more about the details of the history of the Japanese community that was uprooted.
Well, when we heard
Want to go up to your work there?
when we heard we were going to have the show here, I realized, first of all, I had this long wall, and then with the current cultural climate, I wanted to say something about what an American family really is. And I thought, well, the family I know best is our family. And so this long scroll is made up of photos of the family. And this is Mary's mother's family. And we were fortunate that actually the slave records still exist. We ran across them, and so we know that it started, well, in the reunions, we start with Cora Hurt, who was born a slave, and that was in Warm Springs, and Virginia and Marlin in West Virginia. And her family was interesting. In it were, there was a black race car driver, a blacksmith. Uncle A.B. was a White House gardener. He was also a doughboy. So, and we have pictures of that. And then Mary's father's family is down below. And they say that that side of the family, they were never slaves. The Basville Norman, and if you do genealogy, it always helps to have someone with an odd name. But if his name had been Henry, like Mary's father, we would have had much more trouble finding him. But he was born to an indentured servant, Elizabeth Norman, from, well, actually her daughter, from England. And he fought in the Revolutionary War. And that's how they gained land in Ohio, because instead of getting paid, they would get land. And so it shows her grandfather was a cook on the Hocking Railroad, and Mary's father was actually, he was a Tuskegee Airman. He was in the 3rd graduating class, and he was not a fighter pilot, but he flew a little Piper Cub, which is one of those planes that's made up of wood and cloth, and it has no armaments. But he was an artillery spotter, and so he would go and he'd say, "Oh, you should have to fire down here." But he had, otherwise, he had only his side pistol to protect him. And he became a major and was actually the commandant in charge of decommissioning Fort Hays as a military post. And that's how Mary's family ended up in Columbus. They are originally from southern Ohio, Gallup. And then my mother's family, there were 7 siblings, and the eldest is the only one who came, who was born in Japan, Uncle Max. But my grandmother came to join her husband, who had been here as foreman of a lumber mill at Port Blakely, which is on Bainbridge Island across from Seattle. And that at one time was the largest lumber mill in the world, they say. But he died when my mother was only 3 or 4, I think. And so my grandmother had to raise all these children. She would do cleaning and washing. But they were interned during the war because they took all the Japanese off the West Coast. And however, I have heard that she actually enjoyed it more than her children. Her children, of course, they were beginning their careers and everything, that they were snatched out, but she finally had a chance to rest a little. They had craft classes, but she didn't have to cook. And then the bottom part shows my father's family, and he came from Japan in 1907. He said he came because he wanted to study Western art. his family owned land and a farm. We think it's a dairy farm because some of the pictures show him delivering milk. But he was the eldest son, and so the land actually did come to him, but he didn't want to stay. He wanted to see something different. So he moved to Seattle, and that's where he learned photography. He was mentored by Ella McBride, who was interesting because she was one of the early female photographers, and she ran a studio in Seattle. And then in 1922, he decided he wanted to come to New York. And so he studied at the Art Students League, and his teacher was John Sloan. And so that's the Ashcan School of Art. And in the class, among the other students, was Alexander Calder. And in fact, we had a little mobile or sculpture that was on the mantelpiece for years. And my father had actually taken the part off. I think he thought, oh, doesn't need this part. But after he had died and we had to move out of that studio, my mother had a chance to buy the apartment as a co-op. They were turning it into a co-op. And she said, well, might be a good time to see if we can get enough money to do it by selling the Calders, since we still know some people at the museum, Modern Museum. My father worked, he was the staff photographer at the Museum of Modern Art. And he started with them a year after they were founded, up until the 1960s, and took over 20,000 negatives for them. And, so she said, she asked someone, and they took it to Calder, and he supposedly said, well, I don't remember the piece, but if Sunami said I did it, you know, it must be mine. And so he fixed it up, but what happened was, since he put it back together, it became a new piece, and was somewhat less valuable than it would have been as one of his earliest works. But so it shows our childhood. And
that's magnificent, John. That's magnificent. This for the Cultural Arts Center, and not to walk away from your art. Tell us what you have created here.
Well, I have several paintings here. That's artist Romeo Hall. This is an abstract of this sun and green line. I have another painting which is on the other side of the wall, which is the Generations painting. And then I have 4 photographs. This is the man-woman sculpture, which is stainless steel, laser cut stainless. This is my little Rob, I call Pleasure. She's very comfortable around the house. This case has some of my jewelry. I started as a jeweler, and some of my ceramic animals. And also a bronze, which is a dancer, which is inspired by one of my father's photographs. And some little silver, sterling silver animals. These are all my father's photographs. And they're dancers like Agnes DeMille and Ruth St. Dennis, Martha Graham, Tamir Harold Kreutzberg, and there is a video that is running that shows some of them in different dances, so you can get some idea of, you know, how the still images might have integrated into the actual dances. The rest of the exhibition, it's our daughter Jennifer's work on that wall, and I had to collect a lot of them because she works rather small. She is, no, she's 30.
38.
Yeah. Luckily, our kids were born on, Christopher was born 75 on a 5, and then Jennifer was born in 80. So we can remember those, you know, 5 and 8 and 0. And then it's April's work, and she'll tell you about that. And then our grandson, River, he wanted to be in the show, and so we have to watch out. He might eclipse all the rest of our work. So, April?
Thank you.
Yes, that was wonderful.
All right, so I'll keep this pretty brief, but I'll show you a little bit of kind of my work and talk a little bit about my process. These two works are a little bit of older works. I usually like to work in series. So I usually create anywhere from about 20 to upward of 40 pieces every year, and they always explore a different theme. And this is a series I call Common Cosmology. And I think actually all of the work here kind of represents this spiritual core that I was trying to get to in the work. So just to talk a little bit about my process, everything is always driven by the face. I have what I call an artboard on my computer where I collect faces and just inspiration, and that is usually the basis of where I get the faces from. I also use the image of different friends and family members as the basis of the face as well. So I start off with oil paint. It's an interesting process because either you do oil paint or you do acrylic. Usually people don't do both. But the faces are acrylic, the faces are in oil, and the body, the rest of the surrounding area is in acrylic. And then I build up the surface from there. Start off with collage, and then build up with heavy materials such as glass and whatever else I use. So yeah, I get my materials from everywhere, broken stuff. So I like to have a bit of a order in my studio. So I also wanted to point out something about these works that is escaping me right now. So wanted to point out as well that the impetus of this. So I think when I started out, this whole body of work, I've been doing the same thing actually for 12 years. It's been very consistent. I don't know what that says about me, but but it's been the same for 12 years, and it's become sort of this framework for me to explore different things, and this idea of like the face and an abstracted background or a body. And so when I first started off, I was a complete knockoff of Gustav Klimt. I will totally admit that. And it was just really an exploration of the abstract and how do you combine the abstract and the figurative together. So I'm still wrestling with that, but it's also just become a framework for me to explore different things. And this is not representative of the work that I'm doing right now, but a lot of the work that I do also deals with ancestry, which also kind of has a tie into the American family. I like to talk a lot about African histories and mythologies that are often not talked about or explored. And in a lot of cases, a lot of my paintings are named after African Yoruba deities or West African queens. So,
Your master's degree in art history would help meld, bring together. How wonderful.
You studied at Ohio State University?
I did. So I have an undergrad degree at Ohio State, and I have an MA in art history at Ohio University.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So,
How is it that you came to be part of this family?
When I was straight out of college, I was young. I met Chris through the work colleagues, and yeah, we just we hit it off, and we've been together ever since.
And you worked at the King Arts Complex?
I did, yeah, when you were here.
As well as we recalled, you're being here for Conversations and Coffee twice. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this will be my second time with
Yeah,
Conversations and
wonderful.
Coffee. Yeah. Yeah.
So are any of the faces of these beautiful, it's almost iconic, are they representative of anyone?
I'm trying to think. Like I said, I usually just kind of have a file of faces that I use. There are a couple models that I use over and over again. I actually have a friend of mine, Brandy, who I use over. I should paint her. But I use her over and over, and I think she's actually in this this painting here. And her face is one that I repeat often. And I have a couple of different muses that I regularly use in the paintings.
Beautiful.
This is actually, I was pointing to these two. These are smaller works. They're brand new just for this show. And they're kind of indicative of the newer work that I'm creating right now. I've kind of been in a quote-unquote blue period for a really long time where I think, again, everything is kind of, we call it Christian iconography, and it just has this really spiritual core to it. So this new series is kind of going in a new direction, and I wanted to show that as well.
Thank you. Sure.
Any questions, reflections, moments of amazement?
Here we go. I just have a question for John. I'm fascinated to know the strategy for creating that big, long piece. How did you do that?
The scroll.
Yes.
Well, I had done some scrolls prior to this. They had been shown at the Rhodes Tower, some shows, and there were various themes. And I suppose I got interested in scrolls partly because they're used in Asian art, and partly because if you have something large like that, you can store it much more easily if you can roll it up. However, to display it, then you have to figure out how do you hang the thing.
actually go about creating it?
Well, I do a lot of work digitally. I actually have started, my first digital works were in Mac Paint, which if any of you are familiar, you remember the pixels were about as large as you could see. But in fact, I submitted some things. Mac Paint had not been out all that long. I got a Mac. I said, I'm not going to buy it right away. You know, it came out in March or so. And I said, I'm not going to rush that. But then come around June, I bought one and I brought it up to the back door. And Mary knew something was up because when I would buy something like that, I'd always have some sort of gift. Yeah. And so at that time, Macworld magazine was the only real digital magazine for them, and they would run a contest, art contest, and so a couple of my designs appeared in that. So I worked digitally for a long time.
When was that, John?
Oh, in the 80s. So to do a piece like this, I scan the different photographs. I determine what photographs I want, and then I figure out where to place them. And it's just like doing a regular collage with the advantage that you can size it and move it much more easily. And then I have a very large printer, yes, the quality of printers is very great nowadays, and my printer for that has like 12 colors, I think. So it is quite nice in the variety of tones that it can get. The only thing is that when you have to replace the inks, it gets rather expensive. But, so that's how that has been. I just wanted to add something. April, you asked about faces. If people look at the very first wall, the entrance wall, it's sort of an introductory wall. It has pictures of all of us. It has biographies and samples of the work. And April's round painting is the face on that is really Ella, our granddaughter. And then now, River has a self-portrait there. The bottom one, he is king of all garters. And that has been a theme he's been using for a while. We're not sure exactly what it implies, but he likes it, he likes to be king. So.
Yeah, his other theme is the other theme is also igloo air. So there's an ice cream connection, so you also see the ice cream theme happening there as well.
He's got to be a fun kid.
Oh, he is. He actually, and the reason why I think we definitely wanted to include him, he's actually very serious about his art. He's a really prolific drawer, just really serious and prolific. In fact, I actually had an open studio event not too long ago and had some of his work displayed and a gallery on about 5 of his pieces. And ever since then, River has been, he's been even more serious about his work. So.
I have a question about the photographs over here. I'm just in love with these. And can you tell me the time period that these were?
The dance photographs date from the 1920s to the 1930s. My father stopped doing modern dance photography around 1933, which was when he started with the Museum of Modern Art. And he also said that, well, it was hard to make a living because all the dancers, they were like artists nowadays. They were not as financially affluent. But so most of these photographs were taken in New York. And I think most of them date from around 1929, 1930.
I bet they're really valuable now. And have they been shown in other galleries besides the Museum of Modern Art?
Well, actually, the Museum of Modern Art has not shown my father's work. He was staff photographer there, so that meant he took the artwork and installations And he got started on that because his artist friends needed photographs of their work. And so he started doing that. But there is an exhibition at the Cascadia Museum, which is just north of Seattle. It's a fairly new museum. And it is the first major retrospective of my father's photographs. And they have a very nice catalog, and we have a sample if you want to look at it. The curator did an excellent job in doing the catalog. The reproductions are beautiful, and the information, he found out information about our family that we didn't know. So it was nice because, you know, have someone else do all the work. The show out there has the vintage prints, which are 8 by 10. My father used an old plate camera. So in other words, you get under the cloth, you focus onto a ground glass, and the image is upside down. Then you have the film which has 2 negatives, and you stick it in, and you pull up the plate, so one negative would be exposed. And then it was a air shutter, so you squeeze a little bulb, and it trips the shutter. And so I always think, you know, to get some of these action shots, it was remarkable because it's not like today where you go down the button, get all these click, 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 so then you can pick the right moment. He not only had to capture that moment, but if he thought he didn't get it, he had to then put the slide back in, take out that, put the film in again, and you know, so it wasn't a fast thing to do.
They look beautifully preserved. How have they been kept so long?
Well, actually, the photographs in Cascadia are the vintage prints that my sister, who is here, my sister April, and so those are 8 by 10 photographs. When I moved to Columbus, I left the prints with her. I took the negatives, but the negatives have been deteriorating for years because, you know, that's what happens. And especially some of them were glass negatives, and some of them were on the old nitrate stuff, which is really deteriorates fast. But so I started digitizing them in order to preserve them. And again, with digital technology, you can get the retouching and everything. When I did photography, I found that I always had trouble printing. To get the right exposure in the printing and keep it from dust. Well, especially mine were enlargements, and so they would look like they were speckled. But so being able to print digitally, you can get these beautiful prints. And so these are all digital prints, and also working digitally, you can enlarge them. And I found that my father's works hold up. You can see, you know, blown up to a very large size. They are, in some ways, they have even more strength because you can feel them. I think the thing that differentiates my father's work from most other dance photographers is that he captured the essence. A lot of the other photographers, like Martha Graham, after she stopped having my father take her photograph, she had Barbara Morgan, who was a fine photographer. She used a flash and or strobe and a smaller camera. So I think it was still a 4x5 graphic, sweet graphic. But when you see her photographs, they're more photojournalistic. And you look at the same dances that both of them took. And my father's work have this essence of what the dance was. Yeah.
Any other questions, thoughts? Eric?
I'm going to throw April a question.
Yes. Question for April.
Yeah, I'm curious. I've been a fan of your work for a while, seen it around.
Thanks, Eric.
But 12 years is a long time to spend on one body of work. And I guess my question has to do with when you're looking at the face, or when you're choosing the face for some reason. So what is it about the faces that makes you start there? And then for each piece, when you go to the mixed mediums, do certain faces bring out different feelings, and then each painting, and finally, like the shells versus the glass, do those mean anything besides aesthetics, or is there something more there?
It's a good question. So I think so the face dictates pretty much everything, and it becomes it's really kind of funny because it's a cerebral process, and it's also very intuitive, and the face dictates all of that. So yeah, do the face first, and really the face really just it just really has to flow from there. It kind of dictates what colors I use, what materials I use. As far as the materials, do they have any symbolic significance? Yes. For a long time, a lot of the materials were things that I had that had some kind of personal connection to me. So when I first started to use glass, it came from a two-car break-ins. And I wanted to keep that glass. I wanted to just try to figure out something. I felt violated. I felt really hurt and angry that my car got broken into, but I wanted to take it and make it into something different. And that's kind of what taking the broken glass sort of means. I actually collect now that my car has not been broken into for a while. I should not go with. I now, people bring me glass that's been broken. It's nice to know that, people are searching and looking for glass for me to use, so that's kind of nice. The shells, I always kind of think about the shells as just a real way. Again, that's a way for me to talk about, it's a way for me to talk about the African diaspora. The cowrie shells are used in primarily coastal areas of Africa and also in Asia. A long time ago used as currency, now just used as a decorative embellishment for many things. And for that it kind of goes back and it helps me try to make sure that I make that tie into my African ancestry.
Can you talk a little more about that? Why is that a connection for you?
Well, part of it is that the whole reason I'm here is really the connection between Africa and America, this ocean. So this is shell, which is, is water-based. And that kind of represents this link between the New World and Africa. And kind of is really just for me a real strong symbol of the diaspora in general. Sure, thanks for the question.
wanted to say that it's very good because if we break a plate nowadays, we don't say, oh, we'll just throw it out. We say, oh, April can use it.
Gifts that you bring to this entire city. We thank you for the diversity, for the spirit, the essence, as you use the word there, John.
Can I add one more thing? This is my last parting comment here. I also think that, I think I might have mentioned this to Nancy earlier, I don't know if I did or not, but I really think that really a lot of my personal growth and evolution of an artist is because I am in this family, in this family that prioritizes art and values art. Of course, I have wonderfully supportive parents, but I just remember when I was in college about to major in art, they were like, well, maybe art education, pair that up with a business degree. So it's really nice to be a part of a family who gets it and just supports this wholesale because it's a part of the fabric of who the Sunamis are, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you.